Thanks, Steve. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to what I'm sure will be a terrific evening. Hopefully you're having as much fun as I have had. It's extremely encouraging to see such a large crowd today. And I'd like to thank everybody for attending and making this year's Valentini celebration an incredible success. It's truly humbling that so many of you have devoted your time, expertise, and money to support a cause that's so close to my heart, the Canadian Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Before I begin my comments, I'd like to thank Investors Group. Obviously, that was an incredible donation, $10,000. Danielle Caputi. Thank goodness Steve was here. As I said, Danielle Caputi, Scott Fry, and the countless volunteers who worked tirelessly to make tonight's event possible. To see your collective efforts come together, I can't help but think that the momentum towards curing or better controlling cystic fibrosis is as strong as ever. To everyone here tonight, you should know that your commitment makes all the difference in the fight against cystic fibrosis. Every key you buy, every silent auction item you bid on, and every rose you purchase brings us closer to a cure. Canada has the best treatment and research programs in the world, and it's the funding that comes directly through the Canadian Cystic Fibrosis Fund that allows the doctors and scientists to do their amazing work. But it starts with you. With your money, participation, dedication, and caring for those with this deadly disease, we can and we will see a day when CF stands for Cure Found. Cystic fibrosis, as many of you know, is an inherited genetic disease that affects the lungs, pancreas, and digestive system. A buildup of thick mucus in the lungs causes severe breathing problems. It may also be difficult to clear bacteria from the lungs, leading to cycles of infection and inflammation which damage the delicate lung tissues. 1 in 3,600 babies born in Canada has cystic fibrosis, making it the most common life-shortening genetic disease. If your child was born in the 1960s and diagnosed with CF, that child wasn't likely to live long enough to attend kindergarten. However, because of the work being done by groups like the Canadian Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, patients diagnosed now are expected to live into their 30s and beyond. My first introduction to CF was this past September. My wife Lauren was 9 months pregnant and eager to complete our baby's nursery. She suggested we visit an antique show outside of Hamilton to find the final piece of furniture. As captivating as an antique show sounded to me, I agreed with the caveat that we stop in Hamilton at one of the pubs I frequented when I was a student at Master University. When we arrived in Hamilton, we were surprised to see hundreds of university students sporting the familiar McMaster orange jumpsuit at every major intersection around campus. We arrived at the pub and I was approached by one of the students who told me that they were participating in a fundraiser called Shine-O-Rama, which was seeking donations for a disease called cystic fibrosis. I asked a few questions, made by donation, and went on to lunch. It wouldn't be long after this brief introduction that cystic fibrosis would change my life forever. Our daughter Brynn was born 3 weeks ahead of schedule on September 29th, 2009 at 3:28 in the afternoon. She was happy, healthy, and Lauren and I were ecstatic to welcome our first child into the world. As some of you know, before a newborn is released from the hospital, a simple procedure called a heel prick is performed. The heel prick takes an infant's blood sample and screens it for known genetic diseases, as well as other identifiable medical conditions. Having no obscure medical histories in either Lauren's or my family, I didn't think twice of the process and didn't ask what diseases Brynn was being screened for. After concluding the test, Brynn was soon discharged, and we were enjoying our first ride home as a family. Over the next 2 weeks, Brynn was every bit the angel we had imagined, sleeping through the night, eating when she should, and gaining weight as expected. After 2 weeks, it was time for Brynn to make her first trip to the doctor's office to have a full medical exam performed. Lauren and Brynn headed off together with every confidence that Brynn would ace her first visit. Act up. As expected, the doctor examined Brynn and concluded that everything was fine, and wished them both well. As Lauren began to nestle Brynn back into her car seat, the phone in the examination room rang. The doctor quietly excused herself and asked Lauren and Brynn to hold off leaving for a few minutes. When the doctor returned, she asked Lauren to have a seat and explained the call she had just received was from the Hospital for Sick Children. The doctor explained that Brynn's newborn screening test had come back with a positive copy for 2 mutated genes known to cause cystic fibrosis. I would soon join Lauren at the doctor's office, where our physician patiently and compassionately explained that the blood test did not definitively confirm that Brynn had cystic fibrosis, but to prepare ourselves for the likely outcome. Further testing would have to be performed at Sick Kids in order to confirm the diagnosis. Our doctor provided us with preliminary information on CF, explained the tremendous medical advances that have been made to combat CF, and reassured us that Brynn would receive excellent care at Sick Kids. After an agonizing week, Brynn made her first visit to Sick Kids. A sweat chloride test was performed, which measured the salt content in Brynn's perspiration and concluded that Brynn has cystic fibrosis. Although disappointed, Lauren and I had been preparing for the worst. Since her diagnosis, Brynn has been making regular visits to Sick Kids, where the care she has been receiving from Dr. Felix Rashkin and his staff has been amazing. As many of you know, Sick Kids is a world leader in CF research, and with the help of funding from the Canadian Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, the genes linked to CF were discovered in 1989. While the process is at times overwhelming, we are incredibly thankful that Ontario began screening for CF in April 2008 and remains one of 3 provinces in Canada that screens newborns for cystic fibrosis. The Canadian Cystic Fibrosis Foundation played a vital role convincing the Ontario government to make screening for CF mandatory. The CCFF also continues to consult with the remaining provinces to try and make newborn screening mandatory across Canada. Lauren and I look forward to the day when newborn screening for CF is adopted in Canada. We think all children who are born with CF should have every advantage Brynn enjoys. Brynn's daily routine now includes physiotherapy, pancreatic enzymes, and vitamin supplements, which are invaluable procedures in her battle with CF. We are happy to report that Brynn's health otherwise couldn't be better. She shows no common symptoms associated with CF, and with the knowledge Lauren and I have gained, we look forward to a lifetime of amazing experiences. Although our day-to-day life is different from other young families, the disease hasn't slowed us down. Brynn visited her grandparents in Florida last month, and will be visiting her cousin in Portland, Oregon in April. She is booked for her first ski holiday at Whistler Mountain Christmas 2011. And both her mother and I look forward to her participation in the 2030 Winter Olympics. In conclusion, I'd like to leave everybody with a thought. They say life throws everything at you but the kitchen sink. And then it throws the kitchen sink. Now, I can't help prepare you for your kitchen sink moment, except to assure you that if you receive the same love and support from your friends and family that Lauren and I have received from ours, you'll get through it. Thanks very much.